Thank you, City Council, for providing me the opportunity to speak to you tonight about CDA 2030 and our accomplishments this past year and our progress. My name is Ryan Nipp, CDA 2030 Board Chairman and Parkwood Business Properties Partner. Before we begin our report, I think it's important to quickly recap who we are and where we started. In 2013, an effort was made to create a community vision that was an evolution of our CDA 2020 goals that were established in 2001. It was time to evaluate and update our community's goals and visions. Information was gathered through public forums and workshops, surveys, questionnaires, opinion polls, and interviews. Residents from all walks of life and diverse backgrounds expressed their ideas for our future and helped create a vision for Greater Coeur d'Alene. As a result of this community-wide effort, involving thousands of our fellow citizens, a long-range vision and implementation plan for Greater Coeur d'Alene was created, and on June 17, 2014, the Coeur d'Alene City Council passed a resolution adopting the Coeur d'Alene 2030 Community Vision Statement, Strategies, and Implementation Plan. This effort alone, as I'm sure everyone agrees, was an incredible accomplishment. However, our work is not done. This vision and plan cannot just sit on a shelf. Our vision is robust. Our goals reach far. What organization is going to collaborate with and guide the 38 lead partners selected to execute the 180 action items with the plan? There needs to be oversight. Who is going to hold our lead partners accountable? Who is going to push this vision forward? The answer is CDA 2030. CDA 2030 is a nonprofit organization consisting of 1 full-time staff member, 1 part-time staff member, 20 board directors, an ever-growing number of committee members to carry out our mission, which is to help our local businesses, government, and community organizations carry out the CDA 2030 vision and implementation plan. So what have we done over this past year? We asked community leaders Steve Wilson, Patty Shea, Sandy Patano, Hillary Anderson, and Kiki Miller to serve on a nominations committee that could identify and nominate individuals to enhance our already very strong board. Their efforts led to identifying 5 new board members with immense talent, backgrounds, and skill sets to help fulfill needs within our board. Our new board members are John Young of Young Construction and one of the region's most dedicated community servants and fundraisers. He serves as our chair-elect. Aaron McClatchy, compliance manager at Vista, and a passionate local wanting to invest her important time with our organization. Michael Nail, an experienced accountant who will serve as our treasurer to enhance our financial reporting. Nick Swope, health promotions manager for the Panhandle Health District, one of Vision 2030's lead partners. And Mike Kennedy, president of Intermax Networks and former peer of this esteemed council. Mike has the leadership and marketing skills to assist in our fundraising efforts and overall management of the organization. We are honored and thrilled to bring on such respected and talented individuals to our board. I think it's important to highlight a key point with the composition of our board. We represent a broad spectrum of organizations within our community. We are very well connected. We are leaders. We are passionate about our community. In addition to funding support from the city and Ignite, we received over $17,000 from individuals and organizations. This slide shows not only our current sponsors shown with logos, but all contributors since our inception. As you can see, our support is very broad. We continually engaged and educated our citizens with Vision 2030 updates through social media, a newly created quarterly report, and our website. This required continued efforts in refreshing information and content. CDA 2030 submitted and was awarded 3 grants this past year. $2,000 from the Coeur d'Alene Rotary for a bike repair station located at McEwen Park, $5,000 from the Blue Cross of Idaho Foundation for Community Health Services, which specifies an action plan to decrease childhood obesity in our community. This grant submittal included the effort of several organizations. And $8,000 from the United Way for purchasing the Workplace Excellence Series, a soft skills curriculum to be delivered to students, workers, job seekers, and workforce veterans. This grant will provide the needed training and soft skills for the unemployed and underemployed. The goal is to gain employment or retain it, which in turn should help reduce poverty. We host an annual celebration that included information booths and activities promoting Vision 2030 and its progress. The celebration attracted hundreds of attendees. The event is yet another action performed by our organization to enhance Vision 2030's outreach and awareness. We monitored and tracked our lead partners in all action items within the plan. This is an important responsibility. Someone needs to hold our lead partners accountable in accomplishing the goals within the plan. I recognize the slide shown is not legible. This is intentional to convey the plan's broad and numerous goals. To date, 55 action items have been implemented and 77 are underway. This aggressive and robust plan could become overwhelming to all involved unless an organization takes the leadership to guide, track, and facilitate. The community leader is CDA 2030. We're excited about our goals for 2017. I will not take the time to share every goal with you tonight, but I will mention a few. Update the implementation plan by this summer. The plan is a living and breathing document which requires attention and change over time. As the plan is 3 years old, an update is in order. Are the lead partners still the appropriate organizations to execute the action items? What action items have been completed? Which items remain? We will have this updated version ready by the summer. Continue to track and monitor the Vision 2030 plan, a critical responsibility I've already mentioned. Enhance awareness and outreach through personal connections within the community, increase website traffic, and increase our social media following. Raise our individual and company donations from $17,000 last year to $30,000 this year. We just completed our new marketing package, revised our donor levels, and increased our sustainability committee membership to where we are very encouraged that we can meet this $30,000 goal. Another very important goal for 2017 is providing the resources from CDA 2030 committees to support the action items shown on the slide. You can see we plan to support several with our lead partners. I don't have time this evening to read and summarize the action items shown, but I will highlight that these actions will have significant impacts on our community. We want to guide and help facilitate the successful completion of these goals. I know in the past we have discussed the city's return on investment with CDA 2030. You've made important investments with our organization in order to manage the city's visioning process. This decision, we believe, was the right one. For the city's current $45,000 annual investment, we could quantify the cost if the city were to manage this visioning process strongly supported by our citizens. Would it be a full-time equivalent, a half FTE? Or you ask current staff to address these visioning requirements to their already demanding schedules. City staff would have to give up or delay some of their responsibilities to assume these 2030 duties. The point is that there would be a real cost and impact to the city. So here are our thoughts regarding the city's return on investment with CDA 2030. You are currently leveraging an annual $45,000 investment to something far greater and more impactful than you could possibly imagine if the city were to manage this effort internally. CDA 2030 has one full-time employee and one part-time. Our board consists of the best individuals our community can offer. Coeur d'Alene School District Superintendent, University of Idaho's top Northern Idaho executive, our chamber's CEO, presidents, partners, and owners of powerful regional companies, an elected official, and a retired colonel from the U.S. Air Force, among others. We must not forget the numerous CDA 2030 volunteers and committee members as well. We as a collective group are donating our important time to this wonderful CDA 2030 vision. We are committed and motivated. We have momentum. We are growing and evolving into new roles that no one had imagined at our creation. Now is not the time to step back your financial commitment. Rather, maintain, if not increase, your support. Protect your important investments already made to Vision 2030. Let us finish the job. Let us realize our community's vision. Before I conclude this presentation, I thought it might be helpful for City Council to hear a testimonial from an organization that has worked with CDA 2030 on a project that will have an incredible impact on our community. I welcome Mark Hurtubise, President and CEO of the Inland Northwest Community Foundation, to speak about the Coeur d'Alene Early Reading Project, a program that addresses several action items within the Vision 2030 Plan and 2017 CDA 2030 Board Goals. Mark.
Thank you, Ryan. Good evening. Congratulations. The reason why I'm congratulating you is having been elected to oversee one of the gems of regional areas throughout the United States. Inland Northwest Community Foundation is about 40 years old. We serve 20 counties, 10 in eastern Washington, 10 in North Idaho, and we have assets of about $110 million. And typically, foundations are reactive, where nonprofits apply for grants or donors recommend grants using their assets to benefit and improve the community. We're very fortunate that we have probably about $20 million that's dedicated to North Idaho. Once invested, it spins off about 4%, and we make a determination as to how those funds are then going to be used in those 10 North Idaho counties. And so we began looking at how can we collaborate with community leaders, with civic leaders, with other funders, with universities, with school districts, to proactively determine how we're going to effectively measure these investments in a sustainable manner. So one of our first projects was Rogers High School some years ago in Spokane that had an on-time graduation rate of 50%. That on-time graduation rate now is about 84%. And I could list about 10 to 12 different funders, including the Gates Foundation, that collaborated with us, the school districts, civic leaders, corporate leaders, et cetera, to help facilitate that improvement. When we started to look at North Idaho and we looked at Vision 2030, we saw what a phenomenal collaborative model that was already in place. And so when they approached us to consider our engagement in replicating what we had done with Rogers, possibly in this community, we were very excited about this because, one, when we looked at the capacity of the area, we looked at who the players were, we looked at who the funders were, we looked at what issue do we want to get involved in, and we looked at the school district, the University of Idaho's interest. We saw that there were 3,000 K-3 children that are below reading comprehension levels, 35,000 throughout the entire state. So when I went to Boise to talk to the Albertson Foundation and various legislators, I realized if we could create a model in this community that shows measured improvement amongst those children, that could be replicated throughout the entire state. Now, what's important for everyone is when we looked at the players and the co-funders, we realized that those testimonials of your engagement in this process was evidence for us that we should get involved. So what's happened since that time, when we first were approached by Vision 2030, is we tried to design a collaborative co-funding model. So what we're going to be announcing publicly very soon is when you look at Mountain West Bank, you look at New America, you look at Columbia, you look at Boughton Construction and Inland Northwest Community Foundation, we have collaboratively put together a $600,000 grant over a 3-year period of time to work with about 10 nonprofits in this community, UI and the school district, as well as the other players who participated in funding CDA 2030. Now, what's important too, I think, is not only your involvement in this process and your ongoing involvement in this process, but the message it's going to send to other foundations throughout the state of Idaho. For example, the Albertson Foundation, sort of the mother lode of foundations in the state, are watching very carefully and are very interested in coming in as a player at another time. So is the Idaho Community Foundation, so is Vista, so are other organizations we've approached that are sort of on the sidelines watching as this thing evolves. So your testimonial and engagement, I think, and continued involvement is going to be important because not only are you funding CDA 2030, but through this process, you're indirectly cultivating other funders that are going to want to participate once we see some measured success in this community initiative. And when you think of K-3 children, it's not the foundation, it's not us, it's not as parents or adults, but it's providing an opportunity for young people to be successful citizens in this community. So thank you very much for your support, and look forward to talking with you in the future. So when we want to get engaged later on, hopefully in even a greater manner, you will also be partnering with us to accomplish that goal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, for taking the time out of your busy day to share your comments about CDA 2030. We're forever thankful for your support of CDA 2030 and the enormous impact your grant will have on our youth for generations. $600,000 is truly incredible. And the City Council, I thank you for your time this evening in support of CDA 2030. I also want to give special thanks to Kiki Miller, who serves on our board. We are honored to have an elected city official serving as a director and providing us helpful guidance as it relates to the city in our community. Thank you. And in closing, we're the organization held responsible to move our community's vision and plan forward. There's more work to be done and goals to be achieved. We ask for your continued support so we may complete our mission in working with local businesses, government, and community organizations in realizing our community's vision for a bright future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. We might hold on, see if anyone might have a question. We're not going to let you go so easily here, but have a question from any member of the council?
Well, I have a question. I just wanted to thank Ryan and Nicole and Dr. Buck and all you guys for 2030. I'm happy that it's going on. That it's one of my concerns when we first adopted the plan was that we were going to put it on a shelf. We haven't. I was very successful in not doing that, and I think it's really good that we have such awesome community members who are contributing now to keep this thing going. And I met with you guys a couple of months ago and was talking about, Vision 2040. Because, I mean, they're in place. They're ready to go. So it's always good to hear from you and happy to support you. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions for Ryan?
Just wanted to say thank you, Ryan. I know that sometimes we play devil's advocate a lot, and I think it irons out a lot of questions, and I really appreciate the effort you put into this, and thank the rest of the Vision 2030 board members who are here. We've come a long way, so I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank
City
you, Ryan.
Council.
Appreciate it.
That's great. Thank you.